And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 11, 2023 East Brunswick Township Council meeting. Will everyone please rise as we salute our flag and our nation with our Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we begin the formalness of the meeting, I was asked to recognize Mr. Neil Shaw. Mr. Shaw, microphone is yours.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Neil Shaw. We have created a new board for East Brunswick's fast break basketball. So we came here today because we've unveiled a brand new logo, and in the spirit of Christmas and things like that, we've brought you guys a small gift on behalf of the league, and ask you to support us in any which way you can by coming to games, to be able to tell your friends that this is a league for everybody in the community. As well as one of our councilwomen, she is also a site director and been a part of Fast Break for a very, very long time. So we won't take up too much of your time. We have a Giants game to go to. So we're going to go ahead and unveil. These are the hoodies that we bought for everybody.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. The first one is a large. So, man. Sir?
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
And the only thing we ask is that you wear it, and please send it to our website or our Instagram. Because we do want this to be a very much of a community outreach program. So anytime you guys come to a game, it would be great, just meeting the parents and things like that and helping us kind of move forward with the league.
Great idea.
I'd like to introduce you guys to the board. I have Bobby LeMay here, Nikki Tapolowski, and her husband, Rob Tapolowski. We also have another gentleman, Dave Chen, who could not make it because he's at a fast break practice. So, let's see. Now, the sizes that we have...
I hope it's an extra large. No, I'm kidding.
It's a youth, it's a 2T.
2T. 2T. That's
Thank you so much.
I'll do an extra. Get the council people first, then I'll do an extra large if you have left over. Yeah.
Anyway, I apologize for the size miscalculations based on as big as I am. I figured everybody's size is a little bit bigger.
I brought the wrong sizes in. That's embarrassing.
Neil, how many kids do you have in the program right now?
We ordered 599 jerseys this year, so there's a few, probably a few extra, so probably about 550. We started off a few years before COVID at around 1,300. And because of COVID, we lost a lot of our kids, and we're trying to get back to that 1,300.
Nice.
That's great, though.
2X. Yep. Thank you. So kind. Appreciate that. Please.
Thank you, guys.
Neil and
Neil?
board, I just wanted to say publicly that I've witnessed firsthand the fresh face you're putting on Fast Break this year and all the great changes that have occurred, and the camaraderie and the collaboration with everyone is terrific and great, and the experience at the front end has been absolutely terrific. So we appreciate everything that you're working so hard for, and we know how hard you work, and deeply appreciate it.
Right? We just, this is the best team that anybody could have. I mean, they work, as a team, we work hours and hours and hours. So getting the schedule, I'll let Bobby talk about that because she's handled that.
Yeah, we work very closely with Parks and Recreation to use the schools in the district, which we really appreciate. We use for elementary schools, we use Hammersholt, we use the high school for our travel division, so we do really appreciate it.
Good.
And actually on Churchill, we use it for our buddy ball division, which is for our special needs kids. So we're always looking for volunteers to help out on Saturday mornings, to help out the kids with special needs to develop their skills.
What time is that on Saturday mornings?
It is from 10 to 11:30.
We also introduced a new logo for Buddy Ball as well. A little bit softer bear, a little more kind,
Yeah, we actually have the most, we have about 79 buddies this year.
Wow.
So we're always looking for pals. We don't have enough pals to help out the buddies.
Did you reach out to the youth council?
We're working on that, and we're having a training this
Good.
week too, if anybody
Very
wants to
good.
help out, so.
Very
Did
good.
we miss anybody with sweatshirts? Joe, did we-
Don't worry about it.
No, we have them, that's the only reason.
Tomorrow.
You're, Mike?
We had a youth one, we had to bring it in.
I'm just an XL,
Double X, right?
not just single.
Just Kleenex? And Joe?
And tomorrow.
X or double?
I'm like you. It's all paid for now, not
All right, we have them tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we have your meeting.
Remember, we brought a youth sizes.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, we grabbed them.
We'll be here for a while.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Can we get a picture though?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whoever doesn't have one, just grab any size. That lady.
I'll take a picture back here.
Tomorrow, please join us. Mayor, please join. I'll put it on a Facebook page.
Okay. Oh, great, perfect.
Well, I'll have Dee do like a little article and stuff like that. Whatever we can do to help.
I'm good.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry that we interrupted the beginning.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Kevin, I'll send that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. I received a sweatshirt, thank you. And if you're going to bring them back, Mr. Shaw, you could just
We'll put them down on the...
put them over there in the maroon chair. Sure.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Township Clerk Lawful, will you please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice?
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Councilwoman Winston.
Here.
Councilwoman Zambicki. Here. Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Cusculo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Michael Baker.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you Resolution 23-341, adopting our meeting minutes from November 27th, 2023. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
And a second. Is there any discussion or correction to these minutes? Township Clerk, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Council, we have a series of ordinances before us, 9 to be specific, and we will honor each one separately. First up, Resolution 23-28. Township Clerk?
A bond ordinance for various capital improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $4,235,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,023,250 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
May I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
And I'll open this ordinance to the public for comment. Does anyone wish to comment? And we'll close the public portion. Council discussion or comment? Township Clerk Lawful, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Next, we have ordinance 23-29. Township Clerk Lawful, will you please read?
An ordinance adopting a redevelopment plan for Block 87, Lot 10.07, also known as 509 Cranberry Road, as shown on the tax map of the Township of East Brunswick, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1.
We have a motion.
Motion to adopt.
And second.
Second.
Now open this ordinance for public comment. Does anyone wish to comment? Close the public portion. Any council discussion or comment? Seeing none, Township Clerk Lawful, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Abstain.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Next up, ordinance 23-30. Township Clerk?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance number 22-21, fixing the grades, classifications, and grades, and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the United Services Workers Union, Local 255.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'll open this ordinance to the public. Does anyone wish to comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Is there any comment or discussion from council? Township Clerk, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Next up, ordinance 23-31. Township Clerk, please read.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance number 22-22, fixing the grades, classifications and grades, and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the Professional Managers Association, PMA, executive staff, and confidential employees.
May I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
And a second.
Second.
Open this to the public. Is there anyone wishing to comment? Close the public portion, and the audience will understand. We'll take notice that ordinances 23-29 through 23-36 are related to contractual matters here in town. Township Clerk, may I have call roll?
Councilman Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Ordinance 23-32. Township Clerk, please read.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 22-23, fixing compensation for temporary, part-time, and seasonal employees.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
And a second.
Second.
I'll open this ordinance to the public for comment. Does anyone wish to comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Is there any discussion or comment from council? Township Clerk Lawful, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Abstain.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Next, ordinance 23-33. Township Clerk.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 21-21, establishing the salary compensation for the East Brunswick School Crossing Guards Association.
May I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
And a second.
Second.
I'll now open this ordinance to the public for comment. Does anyone wish to comment? Close the public portion. Any discussion or comment from council? Township Clerk Lawful, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Next up, ordinance 23-34. Township Clerk Lawful, please read.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 21-30, fixing the salary classification for members of the Superior Officers Association, SOA 145A, of the Township of East Brunswick.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We'll now open this ordinance for the public to comment. Does anyone wish to comment? Close the public portion. Discussion or comment from council? Township Clerk Lawful, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Ordinance 23-35. Township Clerk Lawful, please read.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 21-29, fixing the salary classification for members of the Policemen's Benevolent Association, Local 145, of the Township of East Brunswick.
May I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
And a second?
Second.
I'll open this ordinance for the public to comment. Does anyone wish to comment? Close the public portion. Any discussion or comment from council? Township Clerk Lawful, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. And finally, ordinance number 23-36. Township Clerk Lawful, please read.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 21-37, establishing compensation and salaries for East Brunswick Special Police Association in accordance with contractual provisions.
May I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
Now open this ordinance for comment from the public. Does anyone wish to address? Anyone wish to comment on this? Close the public portion. General discussion from council. I was like a little bit wordy here. Township Clerk Lawful, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Okay. Sip of water. Take a break. We can move on to our reports section of the meeting. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to shout out to our amazing Parks and Recreation Department for the Winter Wonderland that they had about a week ago on Sunday. Unfortunately, the weather was a little bit uncooperative, but it really didn't deter from what was really an incredible, kind of a hallmark moment there. The department spent a lot of time and effort putting up decorations, having different vendors, doing a lot to promote kids and performances that went throughout the day so that there was a cycling of people that were coming in and out of the complex. And it really just turned it into truly a winter wonderland. And I believe that had it not been for the weather, we probably would have had record number of people here at the township. So if anybody knows a way of fixing that for next year, that would be great. And we could hire you for all of our events in the township if you had that ability. But it really was a team effort on their part. And I think it should go noticed and mentioned here. And so really not much else that I needed to say other than I know that the next council meeting will be after Christmas, so I wish everybody a very happy, merry Christmas, and we'll see you after the holiday.
Thank you, Mayor Cohn. Business Administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Yes, this one item, some of you might know that on Saturday, we had a water main break on the highway on Route 18. I'm going to declare an emergency for that. We called Earl Asphalt Company, who's doing the Route 18 highway work for the state, and for continuity, we thought it best that they handle the project. So Mr. Dan Losak contacted me, said he wants to declare a public emergency for the health and safety of the public. I agreed with him that it was necessary to get that water line back up and going. So I'm going to meet the statutory requirement of informing the council at the very next meeting, and at the next council meeting, we will have a resolution to memorialize that. but I just wanted to let you know that I needed to declare the emergency for the public. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you, Mr. Criscuolo. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Baker.
No report this evening, Council President.
Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
I follow suit, no report today.
With regard to council, any committee or board reports?
I met with the Water Policy Committee, and before this water main break, the news was that we were on or ahead of schedule, and that the northbound side would have been opening to 3 lanes once they installed some concrete curbing there, and that Vermella is going to be hooked up soon on the southbound side.
Great, thank you.
That's great news. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Zambicki, anything? Okay.
Zeroed.
I'm glad to report from the, may I? I was in a little shock, too. Yes, I didn't know what to say then.
We haven't had a meeting yet.
It's okay. We appreciate the reports from the Recreation Board, but with regard to the Planning Board that the mayor and I are on, I'm really excited to report to you about 2 warehouses that were given approval on one on Harts Lane and one on Cotters Lane. It's an example of correct planning by putting warehousing where warehousing belongs, and not having our constituents saying, what are you doing that for? So 2 rather large, wouldn't you say, Mayor Cohn, warehouse complexes coming into the community soon. Okay, so that's my report. Let me open the meeting to the public, and will Township Clerk Lawful please read our public comment statement.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond, not respond, or ask the administration to respond.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address the council president? Please.
Good evening, council and mayor. My name is Christian Kane, and I'm a nurse and resident here in East Brunswick on Shetland Road. I'm here to continue advocating for the safe staffing bills S304, A4536, which would establish minimum staffing levels for registered nurses across the state. We are facing a crisis, and it is going to take the support of the public and elected officials to overcome. The nursing workforce is collapsing. Like climate change, we are facing a positive feedback loop that requires dramatic action now so as to prevent disastrous consequences. For those unfamiliar, a positive feedback loop is a set of repeating, amplifying events that often need external actions to stop. Depends on if the root cause is eventually eliminated by the loop itself. Great example is miracle of childbirth. The baby creates pressure, stimulating contractions and dilation, which further increases pressure, and it continues until the baby's born. This is an example of a loop that will eventually come to an end on its own. Unfortunately, the loop I'm here to address is no miracle. Instead, the American healthcare system is facing a nursing shortage that has festered like an open wound over the past couple of decades. The cycle starts with nurses having poor job satisfaction. This causes them to leave the bedside. This loops into itself repeatedly, amplifying the shortage. This can technically resolve by itself. You could just wait until there aren't any more nurses left. While it seems like I'm joking around, I am being extremely serious. If you wait to intervene in this loop, eventually that is what will happen. Let's return now to the postpartum mother in recovery. Her blood pressures drop to critical lows due to blood loss. The nurse calls for a rapid response, and the doctor is now at the bedside. They order a stat blood transfusion and instructs the nurse to slow the bleeding until it arrives. By taking swift and decisive action, the team has stopped an undesirable feedback loop. If the nursing crisis is also a positive feedback loop, what is the root cause? If you check any academic study or survey on the topic, you will find overwhelming evidence that nurses believe their organizations are understaffed. A survey performed in 2021 by the American Nurses Association determined that 9 out of 10 nurses say their organization is understaffed. The American Nurses Foundation performed a survey in 2022 and determined that 63% of nurses under the age of 35 either intend to or are considering leaving their job. In an article published in Health Affairs by Dr. David Auerbach, the nursing workforce dropped by a record 100,000 in 2021 alone. The majority of these nurses were under the age of 50, and the under 35 demographic experienced the largest drop. He goes on to say, a sustained reduction in the number of younger age RNs would raise ominous implications for the future workforce. The nursing workforce is in shock. If this crisis were a patient, you would stop the bleeding and get a transfusion stat. So why are we listening to hospital lobbyists who refuse to do either? They victim blame by saying nurses must not have a positive enough mindset. Consultant groups such as Oracle say disgusting things, such as nursing turnover has surprising benefits, like saying that burnt-out nurses are lowering morale, and that if they leave voluntarily, it saves the hospital money and benefits. An industry that admits to seeing this as a good thing might as well be vampires. They grow stronger from malicious exploitation. The industry reinvests these savings into consolidating into larger networks, leading to monopolies that drive up costs and insurance premiums alike. The FTC recently stepped in here in Middlesex to stop the Robert Wood Johnson-St. Peter's merger. Instead of worrying about patient care, they build billion-dollar expansions. Hospital associations act in ways that harm the American public and the healthcare workforce alike. These bills have provisions to allow for time to obtain that unit of blood that the workforce needs to survive. While we act to stop the bleeding, hospitals can figure out ways they can attract RNs back to the bedside. There are nearly 30,000 RNs in New Jersey that have allowed their licenses to expire. If evidence is to be believed, many of them are young, and the vast majority of them left due to poor working conditions. If these conditions were to change, we could bring them back to the bedside and stop this cycle. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council president, please?
My name is Joseph Schmidt, Lois Avenue, East Brunswick, and I have Tourette syndrome, so facial tics, for those who don't know, everyone else probably knows I have that, I have facial tics. On the discussion before, this information, he actually was mentioning about nursing shortages, and this information is probably about a year and a half old, but I remember talking to a bunch of EMTs and other people in work in hospitals at the time, and they actually said one of the reasons that people are leaving and trying nursing in hospitals and going to private care is because they felt they weren't treated properly, and just for your information, they also felt that they weren't getting paid enough in the sense to deal with what they were doing. Apparently, some also left because of vaccine mandates as well. You have the influenza vaccine mandate and the COVID mandate at the time. Those were big issues for a lot of people in the medical profession as well. Although a lot of people were able to get religious exemptions, so it wasn't exactly the same thing. But a lot of them, more people apparently were leaving because of that from people I talked to. Another aspect about the medical issues that we're having where there's a shortage of doctors, et cetera, there's a number of reasons why. One possible reason is the large increase in medical need. Some of that is natural because if people live longer, they need more medical care once they get over a certain age, say 80 or 70, there's a lot more medical care. Some people, if they have other issues and they're younger, depending on various factors. But also there's a large increase in chronic childhood disease. Robert Kennedy Jr. quoted the CDC, I think 1983 was somewhere around like 13%. And in 2017, it had jumped up to over 50% of childhood chronic disease, which is pretty vague because it referred to just a minor allergy to like all the way to like someone with autism who's stuck in a diaper. And I remember as an EMS, I actually remember going to a building in Highland Park that actually had people with autism who were stuck in a diaper who were adults who can't take care of themselves. And the rates of people like that are actually increasing over time. So that's going to affect a lot more childhood care. And there's actually research that is out there about how that's affecting the economy and affecting tax dollars and a whole bunch of mess that's causing that in the economy because of that. That was basically what I wanted to say, those concepts. All right.
else wishing to address Council President? Mr. Ingrasani?
Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road. Mr. Mayor, President, Council. I received 2 letters within the last week or so. One was interesting to have, it's like a water pipe insurance. It's $372 for a month and $44.60 for a year. It's up to almost $10,000 of insurance in case your water main breaks, and, you know, I think it's very good. I have another policy which I'm paying $85 for, but this struck me that was pretty good. So if you could pass the word on to people, and, you know, I think it's worth it. In fact, too bad the town couldn't just add it to the taxes, have everybody, you know, covered. But to me, it's worth it. If you want the number, I gave it to you, Jim. If you want me to give it in public, I'll give it to you. But the number is 1-877-532-5268. It's American Water Resources, okay? Now, the other letter I got was from PSE&G, that they're going to install smart meters within the next 90 days. Now, I don't know if, I think you should be home for this, because they say it only takes a few minutes. You pour it out and they put it in, but you could have a compressor going in the house. You could have your refrigerator compressor below, and it should be that they let you know, this way you can shut off the main and put everything on back normally. I mean, I was an electrician, so I think that's used to do that. You never put anything back on the load, all right? And the other thing is, too, they should give you time to tighten up the lugs in the meter, because most of these houses have aluminum wiring and they oxidize, and they usually loosen up, and that could create an arc and do damage later on. So I prefer to be home because I'd rather tighten it up myself. And just to let you know, but they're saying they're going to install within the next 90 days. So do you know if they're going to have notify the people or just do it on their own? That's what I want to know, if you could find out. I'll call it myself, but let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Ingrasani.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Anyone else wishing to address Council Pres? If not, we'll close the public portion. We have a resolution requiring a separate vote, and that is Resolution 23-342. Township Clerk, will you please read?
Resolution authorizing budget transfers in accordance with NJSA 40A:4-58.
We have a motion? Second?
Second.
Mr. Crisculo, will you comment on this?
Yeah, these are just the normal end of year truing up from the budget to what our actuals are at. You notice that we've spent a lot of money on automobile parts because we tried to get the most out of our vehicles, and there's various other line items. Truly is, when we pass a budget, it's truly a budget with projections, and now you're just truing them up like we do from November through December, and actually you can do some in January too. So you'll probably see this on the agenda again on the 26th.
Thank you. Is there any council discussion? Please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Moving on to our consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be separated? May I have a motion for Resolution 23-343 through Resolution 23-350?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. And for the good of the cause. Councilwoman Wendell.
I would just like to wish everyone that's here and celebrating a happy Hanukkah, and to those that will be celebrating Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you all the day after.
Anything from anyone else?
I second that.
Please.
I third that.
Right? I'm just trying to, as the mayor said, the holidays are, we're wishing everyone a happy holiday. And may I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good night.